Hi guys, this is a very important topic which we are going to discuss. It is all about the APIGEE. So till now, if you haven't subscribed the channel or maybe not yet basically clicked on that button for subscribe, definitely you can subscribe. You can also suggest some much more topics. Also, you can give your feedback and the comments as well. Right. So we are really appreciate your interest and we are continuously putting an effort to help you. So here we are going to just discuss about the APIGEE. What is the APIGEE? So before coming into an APIGEE, maybe you need to understand that how we are integrating the different applications, right? You also need to understand the basic concept of a microservice architecture as well. Correct. So apart from microservice architecture, even though you also need to understand the monolithic applications, correct? So consider the scenario, maybe let's say if you are going for any corporate banking solutions where you have one application as a just for processing a payment, another application is for processing some other works, right? There are multiple applications are connected. Some of the applications are hosted into a cloud, some of the application hosted on your own environment, right? Or maybe there can be chances where you have a multi-cloud setup, right? So will some of the services you are using from some other cloud, that can be also possible, right? So hybrid cloud, multi-cloud setup, that can be situations can come up, right? So there are multiple combinations of that your application deployment the scenario. If you are talking about, even though in monolithic application you have a multiple applications, right? And you cannot have a multiple entry points like that. Correct. So that is the one thing we need to understand it. Correct. So definitely, maybe you heard about this term called as API gateway. Correct. So you can also consider like that, but it is having a much more added advantage over the API gateway. So that is also we will going to discuss, right? So that is also one of the pattern as we are talking about the microservices pattern, right? So in that scenario, you will have particularly as a single entry point, we use that as a API gateway, right? So that kind of implementation we can also achieve through an APIGEE, and also we can connect some of the monolithic applications as well. Correct. So that is, you can just see. So you will see there is a particularly cloud applications, right? There are internal applications. So they connect to APIGEE, and APIGEE is another one more layer here, right? So this layer is basically, maybe you heard about that facade pattern here, right? In our development. So we hide that entire implementation and everything at the back end. So everything is just basically facade layer is just an abstraction layer, what we can say. So in the same way, we also have an APIGEE, right? So we have the developing services, monitoring and analytics, monetization, security, traffic management, and mediations. So at the back end, you will have your legacy or on-premises app here. There are some cloud apps like that. So multiple other application can are running at the back end, and you will have there is this abstraction layer that is called as an APIGEE. Correct. So I guess you got that point. What is the use of an APIGEE? Now, high performance API proxies. So here you also need to understand what are the proxy patterns, right? So we generally in also, if you are talking about Java World or somewhere else also, maybe you can go for a proxy, right? Generally you can think of check for prototype patterns, right? Proxies are basically we create for a particular definitely this word we generally use it for creating a proxies for particularly Java, any Java classes as well. Maybe you can see we create the proxies for services as well, right? So orchestrate and manage traffics for demanding application with unparalleled control and the reliability. Correct. So API supports style like REST, right? RPC, SOAP, and GraphQL. So these are the some common, you can say, styles which we use it for exchanging the data. Correct. REST APIs, RPC, SOAP, GraphQL, with flexibility to implement any architecture, right? So this APIGEE can help it to you to proxy internal microservices, right? Manage in a service mesh as a REST API to enhance the security. Correct. So it is basically helping it you for creating for proxies for a microservices, right? It can help it to you with different implementation style for exchanging a data, right? So we have different ways we can use the REST API to send a request and generating a response, RPC or SOAP also XML based. You can also use nowadays this GraphQL to exchange the data like that, correct? So all these ways, these API proxies will help it to you, right? Using that basically proxy for internal services, correct? So that is one thing, yeah. Otherwise, how if you have different services, you will have a different you can say implementations and response or this APIs, right? One is basically for GraphQL, one is basically REST APIs, another is RPC. So how you will handle through one single layer? So you need to have a very powerful layer which can handle all sort of request and responses, right? So automated API security with ML-based abuse detection. So you also know that there are many such challenges for cyber security, right? And it is a very important fact. All these, you can say banking or financial institutions, they are very much basically bothered about it. Many such other organizations also very much careful about that all security concerns. There are different types of attacks and things are still going on. So cyber security is, as of now, it's very much in demand, correct? So here is also how you can secure your APIs also, right? So some of the APIs maybe you will expose over the internet, right, to consume it for maybe by the client or maybe some other third, you can say your own applications is consuming or connecting it, correct? So it will protect your API from misconfiguration, malicious bot attacks, critical abuses, right? So you already know malicious bot attacks, how it can be, right? Critical abuses, that is also we will going to discuss, right? So advanced API security assess, manage APIs regularly, right? Surface API processes that do not meet security standards and provide the recommended actions when issues are detected. So it is continuously scanning and detecting all these challenges, right? And it will give that suggestions. So it is basically ML powered dashboards accurately identify critical API abuses by finding some patterns. So based on some patterns, so they are basically ML powered dashboard. So they also provide a dashboard here, right? And critical API abuses. So they give some report recommendations where you need to fix it and where there is a potential issues are there. Okay. So large number of bot alerts, reducing the time of act on important incidents. So rather than somebody will come to you when something has happened and then you are taking an action, that is a corrective action, but you can also take up as a proactive actions. Proactive actions means something happened before that you can fix it, right? So that is all about your proactive actions. Built-in and custom API analytics dashboard. So here is a good thing is that you will have a analytics dashboard here. So you can think like that. It is a completely cloud-based dashboard is also there to just to monitor your APIs or maybe to this abstraction layer here. Correct. So that is for investigation for spikes. So let's say any certain points when there are sudden spikes, right? Or if you wanted to improve the performance, right, and improvement opportunities. So in that these scenarios, how you can understand, right? Definitely if you will go for implementation on API gateways or these things on this kind of a services on any other cloud like AWS, GCP or Azure, they have their own setup, but still you have a much better you can say analytics, you can say dashboards and facilities, right? So which can help it to you to improve, right, your performance. So here is also a good thing is that you can take a proactive actions and measures rather than this corrective, right? So custom dashboards to analyze the API quality and developer engagement to make informed decisions. So let's say if there is a continuously increase in your requests, so you can understand that what is the pattern you are getting. Let's say if you are getting that huge request on particular Saturdays and Sundays like that, you can get some alerts and you can understand there are some particular situations, some of that offers you releasing it, some other things, so you can understand some other things, you can understand how you can improve the performance if there are some recommendations. So there is, if there are any other improvement opportunities or where you can correct it or fix it, these things also you can get it through API analytics dashboard. So till now you can create a proxies, right? Then you can particularly get that some insights for analytics when you have any other chances, if you need to correct it for improvement or for performance improvement like that, how to take care that sudden spikes and like that, and how you can take care and save your particularly APIs from that vulnerabilities attacks like that. So 3 points till now we have discussed here. Now, traffic management and control policies. So APIGee also uses a policies on, so everything we control it through a policies. That is very important. So maybe you heard about this word policies. You generally also configure the different policies on to control some actions, right? It is nothing but there are some kind of a, you can think like a rules, right? So API policies, you create it, and these policies are helping it to you design the behavior of a API, right? So you need to understand everything is all about the policies here. So policy provided by the API allow you to add common functionality like securities, rate limit, transformations, and mediations, right? So this is all about, we are just doing through a particularly a policies here, right? You can also configure from robust set of 50 plus policies. So you can configure more than 50 policies to gain control of behavior, or if you wanted to control traffic or security or QoS of every API, right? So that is all about whatever features we have discussed, that is you can configure and you take care by the policies itself, right? You can even write a custom script and code, right, for a JavaScript application to extend the API functionality. So that is also you can do the custom scripts, right, for JavaScript applications, maybe let's say for React app, Angular app, and all other this kind of an applications. So this is, so every time if you are basically wanted to change something, if you want to do something like that, you can use particularly change the policies, add some policies, and based on that you can control the behavior of APIGee, right? Another point is, so build individual API or resources into an API products here, right? So it is a logical unit then can address a specific use case for a developer. So you can combine your all other API products here. That is also one of, so some of that publishes these API products in out of the box as an integrated developer portals or customized experience built on Drupal like this, right? So API products with easy onboarding of a partners developer. So let's say there are a different partners or developer want to consume it. You have seen that different companies, they have exposed their APIs and things like that. So in that scenario also it will help it to you to help for make a logical unit, right? For particularly for developers, where you can get that take on board all these your API products in one place, which can give that opportunity to your some other partners and developers, right, to integrate your applications, right? So you don't need, so people don't need any other administrative overhead. That is what we can say, right? So these are what we can say. So there are different API products, right? Something you wanted to give to consume your APIs, right? There you have seen many such applications, they give and expose their APIs for consumption purpose to different applications, some other partners to integrate it, some other, you can say, developer wanted to build any other app on customized, so they will integrate it like that on your app. Like, so in that scenario also it is easy, without any administrator overhead, you can easily manage it when you are onboarding these products through a APIGee. So this is all about an APIGEE here. So we have discussed everything we can control through our policies, right? Then either it is traffic, rate limit, security, and many such other things, right? 50 plus policies, we can use it. We can take care. We will create a proxies and through which we can support a multiple different kind of protocols like REST, GraphQL, and SOAP and RPC like that. We can also get that dashboard for analytics to understand that spikes and take proactive actions. So till now, whatever, these are the very important points, right? So you can understand that what is this all about the APIGEE, what are the policies, what are the things we can control and we can see here, correct? So definitely, we are making one more video for some much more topics and comparing to an uh, API gateway, right? So you can follow through it. Another episode also we are releasing it here. So if you haven't subscribed this channel or not following on the Instagram, definitely you can search for an SH Academy. You can subscribe it. Thank you very much.